Welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim and our topic in this episode is Neutra, a brand from Italy that made a very interesting chronograph, and that's the Cortina Chronograph GMT 1956. Yes, I've mentioned that watch the first time in my video review series Watch of the Week. Very brief video, only to give you some numbers, some orientation, and this is the longer video now because a long-time viewer reached out to the company Neutra about that watch. And it's funny, there are quite some coincidences and small world moments around this review. Because first, during Watch of the Week, I made a bit of fun about that name. I said something like, super complicated name, how they can make this up. And then Glenn, a long-time viewer of the channel, Glenn reached out to the company and asked them, wait a second guys, there is this architect, Richard Neutra. Did you name your company after that architect? And one of the founder of Neutra said, well, yes, absolutely. I studied architecture in Venice and was under the influence of Richard Neutra, and so we named our company after the Echo and the Neutra after that architect. And I should say Richard Neutra, because he was from Austria, German speaking, and in fact they call their company Neutra. But that architect worked mainly in the United States because he left Europe in the 20s, exactly in, let me check my notes, 1923. He went to California and there he built quite some iconic things, iconic buildings. And then the next coincidence kicked in. Another long-time viewer of the channel, he calls himself Tough Guy, sent me some images from his site, from his home region, and he said that he bought an e-bike for himself just to discover the neighborhood a bit more, and he learned much about places he never seen before, and so he discovered quite a lot of buildings, interesting sites. They sent me some images, and I wrote back and said, oh, that's interesting, because the watch I'm going to review now was named, or the company was named, after the architect Richard Neutra, which had his heydays in Southern California. And I added the Wikipedia article about Richard Neutra and all these buildings, and then Tough Guy found his residence and drove his bike to the residence, and that's the image he took there. Okay, and now to the watch, the chronograph, the Cortina Chronograph GMT 1956, named after a famous and mundane ski resort in Italy, Cortina d'Ampezzo. I hope my pronunciation is acceptable. And good news for you guys with bigger wrist, this could be something for you because it's a dominant piece. Alright, and here we are with our Cortina 1956 Chronograph GMT. Let's start with the specifications. We have a case diameter here of 40 millimeters, a length lug to lug of 46, height is 14.8 with the crystal, and without the crystal it's 12.7. The crystal itself is a sapphire ceramic insert. Lug width here is 20. The watch has a regular crown, so not a screw down crown, and is powered by the Sellita SW532M Elaboré, which is a hand wound movement. But despite that crown, the watch has a water resistance of 100 meters. Comes on leather, rubber or metal, and I wanted to show you the metal bracelet, so I ordered this combo here, and the price for this ensemble now is 2,020 euros, including VAT, so you have to deduct around 20% to get the price without VAT, and then you can translate it into US dollars and other currencies. There we go. And at first glance I can tell you that the watch is relatively heavy and feels sort of luxurious, feels well made, feels very solid and a bit like a perfectly polished gem. So I took it out of the box, which is also a beauty, and I was pretty amazed by the visible quality here. Okay, but now let's dive into detail. What do we have on the dial here? I will move the hands and everything around so that you can see every aspect, but now just a rough orientation. Here you have a 30-minute counter, this is the first sub-dial, then you have a 12-hour counter, and here we have a day-night indicator, very beautiful thing. Then we have a telemeter scale, which we can use in this video. It's one of the simple scales you can find on a chrono, And so my pleasure to explain a bit how to use that thing. All right, I have a black dial. Here you will find also a bronze dial version, but I found this pretty interesting. And I really like the colors here, the contrast between the beige, the red and the black. And also this, I told you that in Watch of the Week, also this nice balance between these writings here, water resistance, the Eco Neutra, and here you find a Swiss made, very, very small. And now the case, it's relatively high, as you can see. As said, 14.8 millimeters, but the chrono needs space. The case alone is 12.7, as mentioned, and you have here a nice mixture of brushing and high polishing. And as said, the quality is really immaculate. It's really, really good, really nice. There you have a 1956 on the case back. This is of course a bit hard to show. Then you have here the bracelet. Also feels very good, very small tolerances. I mean, you can really see it, that it's pretty new, stiff. Alteration was fairly simple. This is they use screws with a bit of Loctite, but wasn't a problem to alter it. There's the clasp, not so much decoration going on, but works fine, works really, really good. There you go. And also here you have an attractive mixture of high polishing and brushing, and so I'm pretty happy. And I will wear that for you, of course, and it's pretty wearable even for my smaller wrist. I was exaggerating a bit in the intro because of the lug width is 46. Normally with, or often with 40 millimeter cases, you have a lug length, I should say, of 48, and then it's getting complicated a bit. But this, yeah, really, really nice dimensions, really nice components, and again, really nice finishing quality. Applies also to the loom. Look at this, just beautiful. And to give you an idea how the watch looks like with the strap, here's the new Caseback number 3, available at casebakwatches.com. Italian leather, so fits the origin of the watch and fits the style and the color, of course, and changes it drastically, of course. See that? Very, very nice. And now let's operate the watch. Let's start with the winding. Feels very, very nice, creamy and just good. I just love to wind these movements. It's really the opposite like winding in automatic EDA. You know, this scratch, 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 scratchy. It's just round and it's like stirring a pot with marble balls, if this makes any sense. I'm afraid it doesn't make so much sense. And then you have two positions. And position 2 is for the time. There you go. These are our 2 hands for the time, and this is of course the GMT hand. We will speak about that. GMT hand for your second time zone. And there you go, straightforward, feels very good, very, very nice. And position 1, come on, position 1, counterclockwise, is now for the GMT hand. And you will notice that there you see the day-night indicator. Very nice reacting. I'm pushing the night away. Now we have 12 o'clock during the day, and now it's getting into the night, and now we have 12 o'clock. Now we have midnight there. Oh, did it wrong, but anyways, you know what I mean. It's very satisfying in a way to operate that watch and see that beautiful indicator there. Okay, the chronograph is straightforward. First pusher starts it, and there you see it. There you see the chronograph hand, and you can stop it with that pusher. And here you have your reset button. This is pretty basic stuff, but just works really, really good here. Okay, and how to use that telemeter scale now? A telemeter scale measures the distance by sound. This sounds a bit weird. This sounds complicated, but it's pretty easy, to be honest. Imagine yourself in a severe fight with your neighbor, the farm next door, and your neighbor buys an artillery piece and fires that thing. And then you see the flash, right? You see the flash, and then you hit your chronograph. And the sound travels with 300 meters per second, and so you wait until you hear the bang of the artillery piece, and now it makes bang, and then you can measure here. You can see 3 kilometers and a smidgen is the distance between you and the artillery piece of your neighbor. And now you can decide about your countermeasures to avoid the next barrage. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's Caseback Watches, always realistic and actionable advice. And so this is the way how you measure distances with sound with a telemeter. All right, and here we have that 40mm watch on my 17cm wrist. And you see it's pretty high, but we are in the genre chronograph where this is very common that you have higher watches. And you see, despite my statement in the intro, might be a smidgen too big, but it's surprisingly wearable even for my 17cm wrist. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? If that looks okay. For me it looks pretty normal, pretty good actually. Okay, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this review. I really placed that brand on my watchmaker map, and I'm very excited about future watches they come up with. Okay, and if you want to join the team with images and stories around watches, then you can send wristies or images from your hometown, from your region to casebackwatches@icloud.com. All right, many thanks to Glenn, many thanks to Tough Guy, and many thanks to Echo Neutra for this marvelous watch, which I have to return now as always. So that's the end of this video. Thank you very much for your attention, and until next time.